coming down for all to see. Then switch it up and treat me right. You promise sun, but you bring rain. I still love what you do to me. The highest highs, the lowest lows. You take me to every extreme. Can't get enough, please let me be. But I love what you do to me.
Good evening. I am Honky and welcome to my world. Let's get right to it. Tonight, it's all about the stalkers. A stalker is a person who repeatedly follows, watches, or contacts another individual in an unwanted, obsessive, and threatening way that causes fear or emotional distress. And so tonight we are doing all about the stalkers. Oh, hold on. I lost my here we go. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Tonight we are going to review the stalkers. Let me go ahead and get my situation going right here. Okay. Here we go. I stalked my current talking stage for over a year before meeting him. I am a stalker. I, female, 23, grew up in a smallish town in the Midwest. I married my high school sweetheart when I was 19, and I divorced him later that year. The relationship kept getting worse, and I was forced to mature much faster to pick up on his slack. In the midst of a divorce, I became more and more withdrawn from everyone, friends, family, and I spent a lot of time online. I still craved human connection, but I was trapped in my own home by my ex. Just for background noise, I started to watch a copious amount of Twitch live streams. I found this one streamer who is mostly anonymous online, doesn't even use his real name anywhere. I became obsessed with him. We naturally have a lot of overlapping interests, but I can tell a lot more about his personality, like small insecurities based on how long he hesitates to pick a certain in-game decision or the slightly longer pauses between replies when he's down about something. I fell in love with him. And as he streamed for longer, it certainly didn't help that he publicly confirmed one of my deductions about him, which only made me more sure that my read on him is correct and we will generally be a good match. I was checking his social media multiple times a day for any kind of post. I joined his Discord and read all 10,000 plus messages. I knew I had to meet him, but I had to find him first. I went on dozens of major university sites and stalked the profile of every cybersecurity major. If any of them mentioned something about financial struggle, I will send them a message saying I have a job and I'm willing to pay half up front. I finally got a bite after about a month. I paid the student a total of $1,500. I had them hack his email plus Twitch accounts for a full name, phone number, and location. Oh my God. I finally knew where he lived. After bad days with my ex, I will go on Google Street View and just stare at his apartment. Sometimes slowly click down the street, imagining us on an evening stroll. I started saving money from my job and stealing from my ex to move to his city. While I was saving up, I started buying more clothes in his favorite colors. I listened to all the artists he listened to. When he wasn't streaming, I was watching his VODs. That's video on demands. When I ran out of video on demands to watch, I would watch them again. I started dieting. I even got a few cosmetic treatments done just for him to like me more. In the meantime, I would keep tabs on every female commentator under his posts and stalk their profiles to ensure I was prettier than them. There was one girl that was very pretty that left a nice comment under his video on demand upload. He liked her comment and I spiraled into depression for almost a month because of that. I thankfully was too depressed to eat during that period and lost a lot of weight, which is good anyway since he prefers women on the slimmer size. I moved a few months ago. When I first moved, I would stare out the window of my apartment sometimes for upwards of an hour at a time, just relishing in the fact that he's out there. My entire body yearning for him. I couldn't even properly finish some work projects because I was too preoccupied thinking about him. I would stare out the window in meetings, feeling closer as my vision blurred the clouds into the sky. The city he lives in isn't very walkable, so it would be unnatural for me to idle in his neighborhood. I faked a medical emergency to get 2 weeks off from my job. Every single day of those 2 weeks, I will wait in the parking lot of Walmart, watching every person that entered from my car. Thank God they're not 24 hours anymore. I don't know what I would have done then. I would even pee in a basin, tomato, potato, basin, just so I wouldn't miss his entrance. He never face revealed, so I didn't know exactly what he looked like, but I knew somewhat based off self descriptions in streams and all tweets. I also knew his skin and hair color based off the reflection in silverware in a deleted tweet. I made my wallpaper the exact shade of his hair for a few months too. I had a few false alarms where I thought I saw him, but when I got closer, they didn't sound like him at all. After 9 days, I finally saw him. I freshened up my makeup and went into the store. I put random items in my cart and make it seem like I was shopping around. Then I approached him. My entire life for over a year was standing in front of me. I steamered. Steamered? Never heard that word. I steamered out of some small talk, probably sounding like a fool. Thankfully, he found it cute, endearing, and reciprocated the conversation. Incredible Hulk says, time to delete social media because this is diabolical. She ain't done yet. We're just getting to the climax. I asked for his number and he gave it to me. It took the most self restraint I've ever had to exert not to text him. As soon as he was out of my line of sight, I kept telling myself that if I rejected him, I kept telling myself that if he rejected him, I think that's a typo, I would accept it. Just had to do some shady things to get closer to him, but it was up to him if he wanted to accept. Living with the possibility of rejection was nauseating, but I didn't even need to worry. It actually went as planned. We've been on a few dates and we really hit it off. I didn't even need to force myself to listen to his music since he likes quite a few artists I like too. We even had a concert date coming up. So we even have a concert date coming up soon. I have everything I ever wanted. He's even better looking than I imagined. We have a lot of shared interests and hobbies I naturally had. For every minute with him, I feel like I'm gaining back 10 wasted with my ex. I love him so much. I'm sorry if you ever see this. I had to I had to do this to get closer to you, but I still left the final choice up to you. We are a great match. I don't regret what I had to do to get this. Somebody says, I hope this isn't real because it's creepy. Uh-huh. Somebody says, this is mental. Holy shit. Somebody says, sounds like you've got a wild story there, but stalking online can cross a line real quick. Just be careful. Somebody says insane. Somebody says crazy. Somebody says crazy bitch. Listen, not everything deserves a Juanqui Pro explanation or conversation. Okay, we're just gonna go right on because it is stalker night up in the Juanqui corner tonight. Okay, it is stalker night. So what better than to see how people use the stalking excuse? I lied to my coworkers about having a stalker so they would cover my shifts and I could stay home and do what I wanted. I'm 19 and I work at this retail place that's always understaffed. A few months ago, I started getting really into some private stuff at home, like certain outfits, role play thing I do by myself when no one else is around. It was taking up more and more of my free time, and I hated having to go into work and interrupt it. No, you did not. No, you are not going to work because you want to go be at your house playing in panties. So one week I told my manager and a couple of coworkers that some guy from a previous job had been following me and texting me weird things. I made up details about seeing his car near my place and feeling scared. None of it was true. I just wanted the extra days off without using PTO or looking crazy. Well, too late for the second part, girl. They were super nice about it. People offered to switch shifts. The manager let me leave early a few times. One girl even walked me to my car after closing. I kept the story going for almost 3 weeks. Every time someone asked how I was doing, I'd give a vague update so they wouldn't push me to come back full time yet. Eventually, the manager said they needed to involve HR or something for safety, and I got nervous and said the guy had moved away. I went back to normal hours after that. I still feel shitty about it. Those people were genuinely worried and spent their own time helping me over a complete lie. I used their kindness just so I could stay home longer. Nobody knows I was fake. Nobody knows it was fake, and I don't plan on telling them. Well, you told a whole bunch of strangers on the internet. I know it was wrong and selfish, but at the same time, all I care about was getting what I wanted. Somebody says, oh yeah, that's fucked up. They're sacrificing their time for your extracurricular activities. You could have just communicated directly about your lack of free time. Worse, they could say the worst they could say is no, but at least you were honest to them. The crazy part to me is that they actually care. Barely anybody I know are lucky enough to have coworkers kind enough to do that for you. Absolutely. Somebody says, yeah, the fact that their coworkers actually cared enough to help makes lying about it even worse. Somebody says, what the actual fuck? Somebody says, this is a gross thing to lie about. Stalking is serious, life-changing, traumatic, and not something to use as a way to get out of your job. And they likely knew you were lying, which is why he threatened to go to HR. All you've done is add another reason for people not to believe victims. Thanks. Somebody says, as a person who actually had gone through this and wishes it upon nobody, this is disgustingly disgraceful. Maybe don't joke about something so serious, or maybe karma will teach you a lesson in life and make it happen for real. Oh, that's a mic drop right there. That's a mic drop right there. Again, not everything needs a Juanqui Pro soliloquy. I think the people in the comments are getting them together. Y'all ready for the next one? Or y'all ain't ready for the next one. We've been talking about somebody who was stalking. We were talking about somebody. Well, we don't know if they were really stalking or if that all happened in her mind, but stalking and found her prey. We were talking about somebody who fake stalking for work purposes and stuff like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am a stalker. It's like Interview with a Vampire. I was suspended from work, full pay for 6 months. It worked out in the end. I still have my job. When I was first at home all day, I was upset, scared, and depressed about the situation at work. I don't have a supportive family, and I have a handful of friends who all work full time. I was spending my days at home alone and miserable. It was a really hot week in spring this year, and I decided to venture out. All I had with me was my phone, my rail card, and a handful of coins. A coin kept him there. I found myself in the city center Saturday, sat in the train station, people watching. I remember thinking how busy everyone was and how I missed my old life. I saw a man smiling at his phone. I thought he was flirting with someone via text. You know, that smile you do when someone flirts with you? Well, it was. I thought that smile. I couldn't take my eyes off him. I wonder if he had a wife, and was it her he was texting? He looked friendly and caring. He put his phone away, stood up, and headed for a platform. I had an idea pop into my head, and I thought to myself, quote, follow him. You've nothing else to do. It might be interesting. Oh God, this is the mind of the killer. So I did. This is scary. I got on his train, sat a few seats away from him, got off at his stop. He headed for the car park, and I got in a car so I couldn't follow him. Wait, he headed for the car park and got in a car so I couldn't follow him anymore. I wandered about for a while and headed home. I woke up the next day and thought I might do that again. Just pick a random person and follow them. But I didn't in the end. I got in my car and drove to the train station, car parked. That was over 20 miles away from my house. I guess he was heading home from work, so would be there the same time as yesterday. He was. I follow his car to his house. My God, babe. Baby, this is when I put that Lexus in sports mode and I flood it. I flood it. Do not use this as testimony. All I know is I blacked out and I woke up in a hospital. That's all I know. Let's get back to the text. I guess he was heading home from work, so would be there the same time as yesterday. He was. I followed his car to his house. He got out and went inside. I drove around for a while, then went home. Oh my God. Every day since then, it's scaled. I know his surname now as I check the name on his front door. I know he lives with a female. I know where he works. I know where his mother or mother-in-law, not sure which, lives. I know he goes to golf sometimes at weekends. I know a lot. I follow him a lot, even now I'm back at work. He hasn't noticed that I follow him. I don't think I've never approached him or done anything to be nasty or violent or threatening. I will stop, but honestly, I think I will miss him. This motherfucker has created a whole relationship in his mind. It's very addictive once you start. It's like playing a strategy game, a strategy video game. You want to know more and more and overcome more and more hurdles. I've sort of made up a profile of this man's life. I feel like I have enough information. I will move on to someone else and keep these profiles and build up many of them. I don't know why. I have no intentions of ever harming anyone. That's what he says now. Or getting caught. I have no reason to do this. Incredible Hulk says 100% white because they're not paying no person of color for 6 months ever. Lord, I'm going to be looking over my shoulder and rearview mirror for weeks now. Laughing out loud. This is the craziest ish I've heard all year. What the I bring it all the time. Somebody says stop. Just people watch instead. No need to be a creep. You're gonna hurt someone, or yourself. Somebody says this is a very serious issue and you should probably seek mental help. It seems to me like you're lacking something in your own life that has led you to this. Somebody else says this is seriously not good. Try and find another hobby or some friends to hang out with most importantly, just distract yourself, whatever, or stop you thinking about stalking. Okay, let's see. One last one. You could get paid to stalk others for intel. Oh, God. Incredible Hulk says, first of all, who has time to follow people? Absolutely. But remember that he was sat at home for 6 months. This is very scary. This is scary. One of the reasons why I like these confessions things, not these in particular, not tonight's, because, stalkers. But I feel like they give me a view, a window, an opening into the minds of my fellow man. You know what I'm saying? New Yorkers. Because I try to focus this on New York. This doesn't really state if it's New York or not. It does talk about train and train stations and stuff like that. So maybe, perhaps. But there's a lot of people that are not well walking among us. They take the train with us. They're in the supermarket with us. And you just never know. You have to stay vigilant. Incredible Hulk says, for free at that. Be a private investigator and get paid. Absolutely, right? Incredible Hulk says, serial killer in training. Yeah, it's very scary. Because the thing is, he's saying, I was just building profiles or whatever. But when that switch happens in the brain, and that switch happens, and all of a sudden you go from building profiles to wanting to taste flesh. This is why it's important, and I'm a strong believer. When I lived in New York City, in the city, and I would walk from Wall Street all the way to Harlem or Washington Heights, I used to do that in the evenings just to release the day and all that. I will often change the way that I took home. Even with the park and all that, sometimes I will go through the park, sometimes I will go through the outside of the park, sometimes I will go 10th Avenue, 9th Avenue, 8th Avenue, 7th Avenue, even 5th Avenue. All of those avenues will get 6th Avenue, 7th Avenue will get me to where I needed to go. And I will alternate because you just never know. You never know, especially if you're a female. It's a lot of creepos out there, and this is how they start. She's so pretty. I just want to see her. And then next thing you know, they're like the first confession we heard. They have built this whole relationship with you, and they want to be a closer, and it's freaking creepy as hell and scary as hell. Absolutely scary to be faced with that. So just be vigilant. We did this as a joke, tongue in cheek or whatever and all that. But this is really not funny. This is fucking scary. This is scary. Those of us who have, younger siblings, sisters, females in the family and all that, young girl, like this is creepy as hell. This is creepy. This is effed up. This is not right. This is dangerous situations waiting to explode. These are dangerous situations waiting to explode. These men are absolute creeps and need mental health support. But we're living in an administration where they prefer to have people with mental issues either in jails, locked up, getting worse, and then they're going to get released into the public, or just letting them be in the public, getting worse and not providing any type of shelter or services or aids, unfortunately. Anyway, this has been the Stalker Confessions. I want to let you know that I do this every night. Every night I do this. No, not this, but some variation of this. I come through live every single night. Every single night I come through live. Make sure that you are here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday Eve. We got through another week. The summer is almost gone. Labor Day is coming. Yes, the barbecues, the celebrations, and then my favorite time of the year, which is the fall, will be upon us. I love me a fall. I love when it's nice and cool and you could just throw a little jacket, a little light jacket. You don't have to be all bundled up. You're not fucking going crazy, but you could have a nice little tea or coffee in your hand and you're walking and you are just living your best life. Incredible Hulk says, we have a mentally ill person in the White House. with a whole parade of mentally disabled and ill people following throughout the rest of Middle America. Okay. But with that said, please make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Please make sure you're staying hydrated because this heat. And please join me tomorrow where we'll have another set of confessions or advice seeking or story time. We'll see. I try not to plan ahead. This is the thing that I like to be spontaneous about. Anyway, have a good night. I know Miss Views is going to come through later on. Thank you for supporting and hit that like. Naris21, AR Stringer, Love Blake, and all the other helicopters. Please hit the like button. It really helps us out as content creators. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace.